Mom who vanished from Louisiana home, killed by hitmen hired by her ex after divorce settlement. In this video, we will tell you what really happened. Tahereh Ghassemi wanted nothing more than to one day live the American dream, but it ended up costing her life. Born in Iran, Tahereh married young to charismatic Hamid Ghassemi. Shortly after discovering she was pregnant, Hamid traveled to the United States to study. In America, Hamid thrived, first opening a pizza shop and then opening a successful luxury car dealership in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. When his son Hamed, named in honor of his father, turned 18, Hamid arranged for the teen to come to the U.S. Tahereh stayed behind until her son Hamed was able to bring her over to America 10 years later, in 2005. But the idyllic life she dreamed of was not to be, and Tahereh would soon discover a devastating betrayal with deadly consequences. After moving to the United States, Tahereh and her son settled into a comfortable house, together in one of Baton Rouge's better neighborhoods. Tahereh, who quickly learned English and had worked her way up to become a manager at a local Walmart, doted on her son, often cooking him meals and managing the house. But the intense attention proved to be too much for Hamid, who felt his mother was smothering him. "It was to the point that I was feeling like my mom wanted me to just work and come and stay at the house and do nothing else," he said. The tension between the two had grown so intense a decade after Tahereh arrived in America that on April 10, 2015, Hamid, then 38, sent his mother a scathing text message, swearing in Farsi and threatening to move out. "It was just a constant fight," Hamid admitted. Hamid told that on the night of April 11, 2015, he decided to skip dinner at home with his mom and instead go to meet friends for drinks and sushi. When he came home, he found a pot of rice still cooking on the stove, but no sign of his mother or her car. "I kind of thought about it and said, okay, maybe she left without turning the pot off," Hamid recalled. Nothing else seemed amiss in the house except that his bedspread was missing. Hamid told that Tahereh had mentioned she'd planned to buy him a new one, so he wasn't overly concerned. Hamid said he believed that his mom had likely just gone to visit a friend, but when she wasn't back by the next day and he found her purse still in the house, he called the Walmart she worked at. Someone there told him that his mom came to work that day, so he figured that she was just upset with him for missing dinner and was keeping her distance. But after Tahereh didn't return for a second night in a row and her friends said they hadn't heard from her, Hamid drove to the Walmart himself and spoke with the manager. After looking at the store's records, the manager discovered that Tahereh had not been to work as the employee Hamid spoke to on the phone the day before had told him. That meant that Tahereh had now been missing for 2 days. "Right away I contacted the police and the police came to my house," Hamid said. Given the tension between Hamid and his mother, Todd Morris, then a captain with the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Department, said Hamid became a person of interest in the baffling disappearance. But authorities also took a close look at another man in Tahereh's life, after surveillance footage from businesses behind Tahereh's home captured a distinctive Chevy Tahoe in the area around the time she disappeared. 2 employees at Hamid's car dealership recognized the vehicle and told the sheriff's office that they believed the car had come from their car lot. Investigators learned that after moving to the United States, Hamid had secretly gotten married not once, but twice, while his unsuspecting wife was on the other side of the world. When she finally made it to the United States in 2005, she discovered her husband was married to another woman and never really wanted her to move to the U.S. and disrupt his new life. She was so heartbroken, one of Tahereh's close friends recalled, of the stunning betrayal. The marriage quickly crumbled, and a divorce battle dragged on for nearly 8 years, as Hamid tried to fight any financial ramifications for him. He just didn't want to give her a nickel, Tahereh's attorney Thomas Gibbs recalled. Just 3 months before she disappeared, a court ordered Hamid to pay Tahereh more than $1 million and hand over 2 residential homes as part of the divorce settlement. Despite the ordeal, Hamid insisted that he had nothing to do with Tahereh's disappearance and told investigators that he was praying for her safe return. With both men in Tahereh's life under the microscope, authorities finally got the break they needed in the case after looking into her ex-husband Hamid's phone records. They discovered an unusual 17-second call just after midnight the night Tahereh disappeared, from a phone number he'd never called before. They traced the call to Tyler Ashpaw, a 20-year-old who had recently moved to Baton Rouge after getting kicked out of school in Wisconsin. During a deep dive into Ashpaw's digital history, investigators discovered his Google Maps history showed he'd been to a remote area in St. Helena Parish shortly after Tahereh disappeared. Investigators went to the location and found polyester stuffing on the ground that could have come from a comforter. They followed the stuffing into the woods and found what looked like a freshly dug grave. There, they discovered Tahereh's body buried in the ground, with the missing comforter wrapped around her. Authorities brought Ashpaw in for questioning, and although he initially denied having anything to do with the crime, he ultimately confessed to kidnapping and killing Tahereh. He claimed that he and his friend Skylar Williams had been hired by Daniel Richter, a mechanic at Tahereh's ex-husband Hamid's car dealership. According to Ashpaw's account, he and Williams hid outside Tahereh's home before overpowering her when she went out to get something from her car. They dragged her back into her home, where Richter joined, and the 3 injected her in the neck with a syringe of insulin they believed would kill her. She was unconscious on the floor, East Baton Rouge Assistant District Attorney Dana Cummings explained. At that point, they wrapped her up in Hamid's comforter and loaded her in the back of her own car. The men drove her to the woods, but when they opened the trunk and heard her moaning, Ashpaw shot her in the head, he told investigators. Ashpaw said that he and the others were carrying out the hit for Hamid, who later paid them $10,000 after the deed was done. All 4 men were arrested. Tahereh's son Hamid was forced to deal with the very, very heavy news that his mother was dead and his dad was being accused of orchestrating the crime. Everything was gone. At that moment, just everything was gone, Hamid told Dateline. All the world came crashing down, and now I just realized that I was left alone. Hamid would later learn that his father had wanted him dead too, so that he could recoup the money he lost in the divorce. If Hamid hadn't skipped out on dinner at home that night, he would have likely suffered the same fate as his mom. Prosecutors initially offered Ashpaw a deal in exchange for his testimony, but after he was found dead in his cell from a fentanyl overdose, they agreed to a deal with Richter instead. In exchange for his testimony against Hamid, he pled guilty to manslaughter and was given a 30-year sentence. Hamid went on trial in August of 2023 at the age of 72 and was found guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of his ex-wife. He was sentenced to life behind bars. Williams pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was given a 30-year sentence. In the aftermath of the murder, Hamid has tried to pick up the pieces of his life. He's married to an Iranian woman he once knew as a child, fulfilling the dreams his mom once had for him, and now owns a car dealership. Although, he operates the business his way. My way of doing business and his way are completely different, Hamid said of his father. And that concludes our coverage of this tragic story. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on cases like these. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Thank you for watching.